Your head is older than your feet. That is not a metaphor. It has been measured. Scientists put two of the world's best clocks side by side, lifted one of them by about 30 centimeters, and watched the higher clock start running faster than the lower one. Over a lifetime, the difference adds up to roughly 90 billionths of a second. Tiny, but real. And it means time is not what you think it is. For most of history, time was assumed to be a background. One universal clock, ticking at the same rate for everyone, everywhere, forever. Then Einstein came along and pointed out that this is simply not how the universe behaves. Time runs slower where gravity is stronger. Time runs slower the faster you move. There is no master clock. Every single object in the universe carries its own, and they all disagree. The disagreements are usually far too small to notice, which is exactly why nobody noticed for thousands of years. If that sounds abstract, your phone depends on it. The satellites that give you GPS orbit about 20,000 kilometers up, where Earth's gravity is weaker, so their clocks run fast, gaining around 45 millionths of a second every day. They're also moving very quickly, which drags them the other way by about 7. The result is a net gain of roughly 38 millionths of a second a day. Sounds harmless. It isn't. Left uncorrected, your position would drift by about 10 kilometers every 24 hours. So every GPS satellite is launched with its clock deliberately set to run slow, to cancel out an effect Einstein predicted before anyone had a satellite to test it on. There is an even stranger demonstration falling on your head right now. When cosmic rays smash into the upper atmosphere, they create particles called muons, about 15 kilometers up. A muon at rest survives for roughly 2 millionths of a second before it decays. At that lifetime, even moving at almost the speed of light, almost none of them should ever reach the ground. And yet detectors at sea level find them constantly. The reason is that from our point of view, their internal clocks are running slow. They aren't living longer. They're experiencing less time. And they're doing it right through you, several times a second. So here's the uncomfortable part. We can measure time absurdly well. The best atomic clocks are now accurate enough that they'd stay correct to within a second over billions of years. We can detect the slowing of time across a difference in height smaller than a book. We can build a global navigation system on top of it. What we cannot do is say what it is. Physics describes how clocks behave. It does not tell us what is actually flowing or whether anything is flowing at all. And it gets worse. In Einstein's picture, the past, the present, and the future are all equally real. A fixed four-dimensional block, with your entire life already laid out inside it from beginning to end. Nothing in the equations picks out now. There is no line in physics that says this moment is the real one and the others aren't. Which leaves us with a genuinely awkward situation. The single most obvious feature of your experience, that there is a present moment, and it is moving, appears nowhere in our best description of reality. Then there's the direction. Almost every fundamental law of physics works exactly the same forwards and backwards. Run the equations in reverse and nothing breaks. But cups don't unsmash. Smoke doesn't gather back into the cigarette. The best explanation we have is statistical. There are vastly more messy arrangements of things than tidy ones. So disorder tends to increase. And that increase is what we experience as a direction. But that only works because the universe started out extraordinarily orderly, and nobody knows why it did. The arrow of time may not be built into the laws at all. It may just be a leftover from how everything began. So, your head really is aging faster than your feet. Satellites have to be corrected for it every single day. Particles reach the ground that shouldn't. We can measure time to a precision that borders on absurd, and we still cannot say what it is, why there is a present moment, or why it only runs one way. It is the thing we are most certain of and understand the least. If that broke your brain slightly, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.